Thank you for watching Jody's Corner, my favorite.
Thank you so much. YouTube was good. It's your boy Jody Joe. Welcome to Jody's Corner. First and foremost, I am your host Jody Joe. Welcome to the channel. This is going to be a movie review for Widows. But before I get into that, I want to let you guys know that this video is brought to you by Kush Water, man. Yeah, Kush Water's that plan, bruh. You can check this Kush Water get down out. They basically serve pH balanced, refreshing water delivered to your door. Put the order in, get that Kush Water sent to you. Yes, it's called Kush Water H2O. Check out the website, kushwaterh2o.com. There's the number 1-855-400-KUSH. So it's upscale water, simply refreshing water for every occasion. They bottle purified and added electrolytes for enhanced taste to make sure that you stay well hydrated day and night. They got cases upon cases upon cases. And what other better way than to demonstrate Kush Water than to trying that thing my dang self. I'm thirsty than a motherfucker. And here's the actual bottle of the Kush Water. I just had me some dark chocolate as I was setting up this recording. But eating my dark chocolate, and nothing gets you more wanting to get hydrated than Kush Water. It's good. So shout out to Kush Water, man. All right, let's go ahead and get into this review. So we got oh yeah, Widows. That's what this is. Widows. So movie review for Widows is what you guys wanted to come for. So this is gonna be spoiler free. Naturally, I can't give away anything. I'm thinking about doing a spoiler filled review because this film really had me feeling some type of way, and not in a good way, to be honest. So let me go ahead and get into it. This is directed by Steve McQueen. I was incredibly hyped to see this movie. I waited for this movie for the better part of, it feels like 5 to 6 months. I reacted to, 2 trailers on my channel. I'm a fan of Steve McQueen, especially from his work from 12 Years a Slave. Lupita Nyong'o got an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress, I believe, in that film. I believe that She Would Tell Ejiofor was robbed by Matthew McConaughey for Dallas Buyers Club, but you know, I digress. So this film came out, and naturally I'm hyped. You got why am I drawing a blank on her? Viola Davis, yeah, Viola Davis in here. Michelle Rodriguez, Liam Neeson, and select other characters are in here. And I really wanted to see it because the story was captivating. How is it that these women are able to get this bank heist robbery get down done? Now, if you guys haven't seen the trailers, I'll give you guys a gist of what's going on here. This is a film that's basically about women who have to come together because their husbands died while robbing a bank doing a heist. So these women are owed a debt to the people who they robbed. So that means that these women have to get together and actually put in the bank job to set themselves free, basically. They're deciding, hey, our husbands are gone. They did some crooked shit. So we need to get together and we need to do our own thing. We need to do what they did. We have the plans. My husband had them. So let's go ahead and get together and rob this bank, do this heist, and get this money so we could be good. Now, initially when I saw the trailer, I loved everything that I saw. But there was one gaping issue for me. And that was, how the heck are you going to get me, the viewer, to believe, when I watch this film, are you going to sell me on how 4 random widows who lived everyday society lives, who are not criminals in their own life, who decide to go from living a honest life to a degree to coming together to be bank robbers? Convince me of that and I'll be on board 100%. Well, I'm going to be honest, this film did not convince me of that. It failed terribly because I didn't buy these women coming together, giving up their lives. Different, you know, you had some who were high class wives, some who were middle workers, shop owners, but none of these were women who were suspect to crime. These are not women of crime. So for them to turn away from their life of knowing all being do-gooders and society contributors to, okay, well, they're dead. They said we got to do it or else they'll kill us, right? Or, okay, well, let's rob some banks and get some guns. Wasn't buying it, guys. This movie really disappointed me. Like, what Steve McQueen did in this film, it didn't feel like it, he did amazing long takes. I'll never forget the long shot he did in 12 Years a Slave when Platt was being hung, halfway hung, and he was trying to get his footing in the mud. And he just left that shot there for a long time. And he left shots lingering on characters' faces. And that was beautiful, man. He tried to do that in this film a little bit on zoomed up eyeballs and zoomed up lips. And it's just gross. And it just didn't work. The zoom up close-ups, long shots just didn't work in this film. There was a shot in this film where he has a camera rig on the hood of a car. And I know that he's trying to push the boundaries and do things different, but it just didn't work. He's trying to do new things, and it just had this off angle that we're watching, and this angle was just weird. Like, it feels like he was experimenting with this film almost. But that's not the worst part of this movie. Steve McQueen is very competent in this film. He just wasn't, above and beyond. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't extraordinary. And I could forgive that. But it's about, this film was slow. Like, I'm in the theater, it's a 2.5 hour movie. So you're in the theater, and my respect for Steve McQueen is what is getting me through it. Like, I know something's going to happen. I know, and you're sitting here waiting, watching it, and I'm like, okay, so that's happening. Okay. It's such a slow film. And then when you get to the end, it picks up really fast and it just goes. So this film does reward you for being patient. But will y'all be patient in a film that asks you to wait for an hour and a half before anything really starts to happen? Almost 2 hours before anything really starts to happen? Like, he did a good job in slow burning this. These characters, these women coming together, trying to figure out little things slowly. There's some shock value in here. There's some surprise twists. But at the end of the day, once you get hit with his punch that he hits you with in the third act, you're left not like, oh, wow. That might be the initial. But then when your reaction goes away and you start to think like, my reaction was, what? I didn't see that coming. But wait a minute. How does that make sense? How? That's what happens. That's what we were all doing when we was watching this film. This film doesn't make much sense, guys. I'm going to be 100. This was adapted from a novel called Widows, I believe. Man, if the novel is like this, how did that book how was that a successful book? There was some really dumb things in here that just wouldn't happen in reality. And this is a film that's based on reality. This is not a spoof type of film. This is taking itself very seriously. So to have some of these characters do things just for this film, it was also, I think he also co-wrote this film. So for him to put things in this film just for, it seems like he just did it for shock value or to keep us guessing. But when you keep us guessing and when we finally understand what you're trying to show us, and then it just doesn't pay off, it looks bad and leaves a bad taste in your mouth. This is a really confusing film in the beginning because you're trying to understand, like, okay, so why is she doing this? Why is she? And then it all comes together. But when it comes together and Steve McQueen reveals his overall plot to you, you're underwhelmed. I know I was underwhelmed. This film really disappointed me, man. Steve McQueen, I think you're going to have to hold an L on this one, bro. I'm really disappointed in this film. I wanted to love this film badly. I was waiting on it. The promotion for this film was amazing. It felt like this film was taking forever to come out almost. But now it's here, and I'm incredibly disappointed. There's things that Viola did in their character that all these women's characters did that were completely uncharacteristic and not realistic at all. I'm not buying that you're going from this to this like that. And I'm not buying the twists and turns that he chose to foresee. Like the whole entire third act, I could make a spoiler review just breaking that down and how that just doesn't make sense to me. And how that is just loosely done and it's just not clean. It just wasn't clean. You could pick that apart. You could pick this entire movie apart. It's a movie that on the surface, there's some people that'll be like, oh, that movie was good. And there was a twist there. And once you thought this was that, but it was that, shoot, man. We saw it at the motherfucking Magic Johnson Theater in the hood, man. All the black people was like, oh, you know how they go. They support it. They clap. They don't They don't know what time it is, man. But for those of us who were there, who know what's up about film, and it's not just there to see black people act, I was disappointed, man. I was really let down. We all were. So, yeah, man. I honestly, like, I think this is a date movie that could go either way. I don't see this being a good first date movie. I see this being a girlfriend-boyfriend movie. I could see you taking your girl because she'll have patience with you, or y'all could complain and talk about the movie together or whatever. But a first date, she might, he or she might get bored, get restless, start to move around in their chair a lot, because this film asks you to be patient. It demands it. You need to be patient in this film for things to start paying off. So just letting you guys know, it's about 2.5 hours, and it demands patience, and it's going to reward you towards the end with some excitement. It's not going to reward you with mind-stimulating, awesome storytelling, because it doesn't have that. This script is incredibly weak. The direction is competent, but it's not living up to what I held Steve McQueen up to be. I'm thinking Steve McQueen, F. Gary Gray, black directors. Ryan Coogler's even put himself up there. I'm really disappointed in what he did here. Script weak, direction competent. The acting performances help out a lot. Viola helps. But even if she was kind of cold and robotic, you really didn't understand why she was a certain way that she was. This freaking dog in this freaking movie was pissing me off. Why are you forcing the dog down her throat? I'm just going to say that. Freaking dog. And just, if you see it for yourself, you'll start to I can see people getting annoyed with this film, and I see some people actually loving this film. It's a topsy-turvy film, but for me, it's very clear, and there's no confusion, that this is a mediocre film at best. It's a weak script. It's a weak story. It's unbelievable. They don't you don't buy into these 4 women coming together to rob it, and you just really just. This film rests upon and relies on its acting performances and its competent directing and the twists and turns all up in it. It's some M. Night Shyamalan twists all up in here towards the end that give you kind of like a shock value, but for someone like me, that just didn't work personally for me. So I'm going to go ahead and let my grade reflect that, and I give this film a C-. This shit is mediocre. Ugh, been a long time since I said that, and I can't believe I'm saying it on a Steve McQueen freaking film. Breaks my heart, almost. So put down in the comment section what you guys think, and let me know if you guys seen Widows, if you guys understand what I'm talking about from a spoiler-free perspective. If I feel like doing a spoiler review, it will come Sunday. I'll see what people say and see how this movie tracks. If a lot of people see it, they want to know about it. I'm seeing videos talking about the ending explained. There's nothing to explain there. It's just, yeah, that's where I'm at. So I don't recommend people paying full price to go see this. $15 to $18 to come see this. Nah, this is definitely something that I would say matinee it if there's nothing else out. So that's my take on it, man. Thanks for watching the review. I'm Jody Joe, and I'm out this thing, man. Deuces.